Come on, mom, 22 grand. I stay dripping on fam. You losing my mind. You come in my mind. You don't like what you'll find. Getting real. I used to spark your seal. That's how I know you feel. I flood your wrist. That's Richard Mill. Ducking the ops. That's Navy SEALs. And we're back with another episode of Behind the Artist. Today we have Mitchell Gibbons. I got that right?
That's correct.
All right. Everybody give a round of applause for Mitch. So basically, so this is your first time on the pod. We're happy to have you.
Happy to be here.
Like I said, it's just a comfortable talking space, so we'll just get it talking. As I ask all my guests, take us through your musical journey, man. We got all the time in the world. Start from the beginning to the end, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna start it real early, back before I was even born, man.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah. So my dad, he played in a band in high school. He played drums, and music's always kind of come in my family. And so my dad played drums in high school, and then he went to a military college at the Citadel in Charleston. And then when he got there, he realized that I love music, but I can't take my drum set with me because it's military college.
Can't take drum set with you.
Yeah. So he decided to learn how to play the guitar. So he did. He taught himself. Like I said, kind of music runs on our blood. So since he already had good rhythm from playing drums, it kind of came a little easier to him. Like he didn't really have to learn like strum patterns or anything. Like
that's a good transition. Drums to guitar, that's a good transition.
Yeah,
for sure.
He just had to learn the chords and stuff. But
right.
So he did that, and then he kept playing and everything. And him and my my uncle, he was in med school actually in Charleston at MUSC, and when my dad was at the Citadel, and they had a little duo that they called Brian and the Doc. My dad's name is Brian, and then the Doc, they called him the Doc because that was his, he was in med school, and now he's a doctor. It was cool. But
that's a pretty cool name. It's pretty cool.
There's a place in Columbia, South Carolina, that's like a well-known pizza joint called Village Idiot, and they were actually the first music ever to play at that place.
That's awesome.
They have music there all the time now. Like I've played there before, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Yeah. So
perform where your dad started it. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. So he, he grew up and kept playing and stuff, and he had my older brother, and my older brother learned fairly young. My older brother learned around 10. He just kept playing with my dad, and I learned drums first because I like the drums a lot. And during that whole time, my dad was playing in a bluegrass band called 5 Pound Bass, which is funny because I'm not really country at all, but I do like bluegrass music. Some of the most talented musicians in the world play bluegrass. So.
Agreed. Definitely agreed.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's bluegrass and jazz, I think, are the most talented.
Talented
genres. Bluegrass and jazz are probably and also one of my favorites for just musical, instrumentals, I guess.
Absolutely, man. But that's kind of where I started. So my dad was playing in a bluegrass band, and we were kids, and they always play on Friday nights. I'm from a small town in Chester, South Carolina, and they have Blackstock Bluegrass, which is one of the small towns. And every Friday night when we were kids, we'd go out there and listen to bluegrass music. And, when we got old enough, we would start singing with my dad and stuff on stage with his band. We'd sing like 1 or 2 songs, and, all the old people there loved it. So, So, when we got old enough, my older brother, he learned first, and I learned the drums, and I loved playing the drums. It was great. My dad taught my older brother, and then when I got around 12, I started liking girls a lot more, and realized it's not very impressive to play, drums with. I mean, sometimes if you're in a band.
If you're in a band, then drums is like second or third to guitar and singer, but
yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, it's not the glorious position.
Yeah. So,
but it is the heart of the band, though.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. But yeah, so I asked my older brother, I was like, hey man, can you teach me how to play guitar? So he did. So I kept playing, and then eventually my
Right.
younger brother, Marshall, he wanted to learn, so I taught him. So it's
Heck
kind of
yeah.
funny. It
Yeah,
kind of went
it
down
goes.
like that.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, man. So it's cool. So yeah, I learned, and like I said, kind of the same with my dad. It was the same with me, because I didn't really need to learn strum patterns because I already had good rhythm from the drums.
Right.
Um, yeah, but it was good. And then so yeah, I kept playing guitar, and I loved it. Like I would play at school talent shows, and I remembered my I always knew that I had a really really like higher voice. I mean, it may not sound that high right now, but I can go like pretty high when I sing.
Yeah,
Um,
singing voice is totally different from your talking voice.
yeah, I know. So, but I think the reason that I can go high, and I specifically remember this when I was younger. I think it was like 2005, maybe a little after that. My mom loved it's whenever that song "Jesus Take the Wheel" came out by Carrie
Right.
Underwood, and
Right.
I could hit all the notes like that with Carrie Underwood, and she'd always make me like sing it for her friends and stuff when they came over. It was funny. So I know it's funny,
That's a good one.
but
That's a good one.
yeah,
That's a good story. That's
it
probably
was great.
that's one of the best I've heard on the pod. That's that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I appreciate it. Man, that's a great
Jesus take
song
the
too, man.
wheel. Yeah, no,
Great
it's a good
song.
song
But
for sure.
yeah, so I mean, I just even going through puberty around 12, I was still trying to hit those high notes even when my voice was, going in and out because I was going through puberty, but
Yeah.
I kind of got to the point that I can hit some high notes. I love singing a lot of Mount Joy. I don't know if you know Mount Joy.
No,
They're a
I
pretty
don't,
good
but
band.
I'll
They're a
definitely
pretty
look them
good
up
band,
after.
and they have some high stuff. They're a lot of their stuff is I think they're very inspired by like Neil Young. If you know who Neil
Right.
Young is,
I
yeah,
do.
he has a really high
Yeah.
voice. So yeah, man. So I kept playing and enjoying it. Played in talent shows and stuff in high school. Um, I led music for I went to a small private school and a small Christian private school, and we had
Mhm.
chapel every Wednesday, and I led music for that. I'd
Yep.
play in the church, and then, about eventually I got to the point. It was my like, junior year of high school, and we went to this bar. I mean, I couldn't drink it. I was a junior, but
Obviously.
yeah, we went to this bar called McHale's, and it's just like an Irish pub, and God, it's so good, and really good food and stuff, and they had live music up there, and I remember the guy playing up there. I mean, he was just singing and playing normal chords, and I was looking around like, and so my dad let him. He goes, "You could do this. Like, it's easy, man. Like, it's
Yeah.
not that hard. I mean, you just got to get a stage presence. That's the hardest part. Like, I
It
know I
is.
can play. I know I can sing. I do it at school all the time, but if I do something like that, I can actually like play in front of people and play stuff that I want rather than yeah, and I can make
Yeah,
money to it.
that's on the side, but
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, man. So I was like, heck yeah, let's try it. So I hit up the owner of McHale's, the Irish pub that was there, and it was funny, man, because I was like 17 at the time,
right.
and it was funny. He hired me to play, a show like on a Friday night, and I was like, man, booking me for a Friday. I was like,
Friday
geez,
night, yeah.
yeah.
Friday
He
night,
did,
that's everybody there.
yeah, and he didn't know, that was my first gig. So I was like, let's do it. So funny thing is, man, I played some. I've always been really into John Mayer. I love John Mayer. A lot of my music is
Oh
inspired by
wow,
him.
yeah, I like that. I like that a
Um,
lot.
so I learned as much John Mayer as I possibly could, and then I love Ed Sheeran and some stuff like that. So a lot of singer songwriter stuff. So I started out just kind of playing covers, and I played at that Friday night gig at McHale's, man, and to this day, that's the most people I've ever had at a gig. And let me tell
Really.
you, let me tell you why. It was my first one, man. I was so nervous. Luckily, they ended up loving me, but at first it was like kind of a normal crowd, like people sitting down at tables and stuff. And then
Hmm.
there was a wedding across the street, and I was playing from 10 to 1 a.m. So as soon as that reception ended, everybody came
That's
over, man.
wow. That's
Dude,
hilarious. Hey, but that's awesome though. That's
dude, it
awesome
was
though for your
awesome, man.
first show. because you were probably already rocking it. You're you're already rocking, and you just get a whole bunch of influx and tips coming through. That's pretty good.
Dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think the bar paid me, I think, like $250 for 3 hours, which is a lot for 3
Yeah,
hours.
yeah.
Usually the going rate is like $50 an hour. But yeah, the bar paid me like 250. I made like 300 in tips that night just because
Heck yeah.
everybody came over, dude. It was great. It was great.
Heck yeah.
It was a
Heck
good
yeah.
feeling. But yeah, so I mean, after that, man, yeah, I just did that with like an amp that I had at home, like an old amp. So after that, I talked with my dad, and I was still in high school. I didn't have much money or anything, so he helped me invest in a good sound system. Um, and I was just playing. I had a Taylor that I had just bought, and I was playing with that, and I loved it, man. I would keep booking there, and then I'd look into some breweries and stuff, and started playing different places. And then, when I went down to the Citadel, it kind of came to a little halt for a little bit. I couldn't really play much because I was
Right.
in military college, but it's all right. It's all good. But I would try to play gigs on the weekends and stuff like that. So that was fun. I kept doing that, and it's fun. And then eventually, I got to the point that it was, let's see, yeah, it was, yeah, okay, yeah. So I was a junior, yeah. It was right before yeah, okay, going in from sophomore to junior year
Mhm.
in college. I decided, I was like, man, like I play all this stuff. Like I have originals, I've written originals. I'll play originals every now and then. Now I need to record something. I need to record
Yeah,
something,
there
put
we
something
go.
out. Like I have the confidence to do it. I've never, I don't know how to do it.
Mhm.
So I have a good buddy of mine. He's a very, very talented drummer by the name of Blake Hunter. Um, I still play with him all the time. We have a little duo show that we play sometimes.
Mhm.
But yeah, he works at he works at a place called Freeway Music in Columbia, South Carolina, and he's a really good teacher. And he had a buddy that records music on the side. Doesn't do it like professionally or anything. And he was like, yeah, I could talk to him, and I'm sure he won't charge you much or anything. Like, I was like, sure,
Yeah.
why not? So, yeah, because I had like, 5 songs that I thought were like, I think good enough to put out. So I
Right.
talked with him, and I was like, hey man, like, is there any way we can do this? He goes, well, let's just get in the studio and see if we can make it work. So I did, and I put out an EP called Stuck in My
Mhm.
Head, and
That's exactly what I was about to pull up.
yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds awesome, dude. Everything sonically is great. The
Thanks,
lyrics
man.
are perfect. I
Appreciate it.
just figured I compliment you on that. I listened to it before the podcast.
Thanks, man.
Everything's really good. I can definitely hear that John Mayer inspiration.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
can get into that later though, but keep going, man. After you
Cool,
had got
cool.
out of the studio, what was that feeling like?
Oh, dude, it was cool. Like, cause I knew how to play guitar well, and I could sing. But I didn't really know how to do all the other stuff. Like, I have an idea of how to play bass, but I want somebody better.
Right.
My buddy Blake, he played drums on that with everything, and I love those songs, man. Like, Helping Hand. It's pretty cool how I wrote it. I wrote it on a 1934 Gibson that yeah,
Just in
the
the
organ
studio?
well, the organist at my church, she saw that I had a Gibson that I bought, and she said, oh, I have one laying around at my house. I was like, oh my god, I'd love to see it. And
Yeah.
she let me see it, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, this thing is sick. She let me keep it for like the weekend, and then I
That's
tried to buy it
awesome.
from her, but she said her
No,
son wanted to keep it.
yeah,
So
so that didn't work out, did it?
no, in 1934 Gibson, man, that thing's pre-war. I was like, geez, that's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
But yeah, that song has that guitar had so much like history on it. It was easy to write something on that.
Hmm.
But one of the cool things that with my, I guess you talk about musical journey and stuff. One of the things that I learned, like how to write when I was writing music. I still write, but um, I watched a video on, like I told you, I'm very inspired by John Mayer. Like I love all of his stuff, and one of the things that he says, you can't force it. Um, he said, but a lot of things one of the things with me, it's pretty easier for me to make up melodies. Like I can make up a melody like in
Yeah.
my head back and forth. The lyrics are the tough part for me. So I can get a melody going and like, chord structure and changes. But one of the things that John Mayer, I heard from one of his YouTube videos, is like, just like look at things in the room, think about them, and like try to make a lyric about them, and then keep going, and just let it come out of you. So That's how I wrote Helping Hand. I wrote it in my room. I was looking at a house. I was looking at, sorry, not a house. I was looking at like a hat that I have with like a little sun on it. And at the beginning, it says, sitting here thinking of the beauty of a sunrise. And I saw that and I was like, oh, there you
Yeah, pretty
go.
good.
So,
That's pretty
yeah, so
good.
I just
Yeah.
thought about it. So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. Dude, that songwriting process is so relatable. I'm actually in a band as well. It's called No
yeah,
Clue, but yeah, just
sweet,
like
sweet.
getting melodies down and then just filling them in is it just makes everything just kind of click.
Yeah, it starts clicking after a little bit once you get your subject. The toughest part is getting the subject to write about.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. I
yeah.
definitely and to go about it without being so direct is definitely
Mhm.
something that I struggle with. Just not saying like having an idea of what I want to write a song about without actually saying this is what I'm writing the song about. Being able to write
Absolutely.
metaphors and similes, which I definitely see in your work,
Yeah.
is definitely a big part of songwriting and something that you have a good skill for, which is good.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
So
it. But
so you released that EP and then you got to you had two more singles after that. Am I right in that?
yeah, three songs, but I put one single with two songs and then just a single, which was the most recent one that I put out.
Right, and
I
that's
want
Make You
to
Mine.
make you mine. That's probably my favorite that I've put out. But yeah, the other songs that I wrote, I wrote them about, I'm engaged. I'm getting married in June, and um, you know, love
Again,
songs and
congratulations. Yeah.
thank you, man. I appreciate it. But love songs, I used to always think, I'm like, love songs they're easier to write. And I kind of had, shame in writing them sometimes. I'm just like,
Right.
like write
It's
about
the
something
cle
else
it's
other
the
than that.
cliche. It's the cliche, and I get it. And I get
Yeah,
it. But again, like they're also the type of song that everyone listens to. They're also the type of song
exactly.
that you relate to because I mean you're engaged. So
Exactly.
I,
So
I
yeah,
think I think writing about what you're going through is definitely something that is
hmm
important,
yeah,
because you try to convey something else like I hate my girlfriend or something like that in a song, and
yeah,
you're
you
like
can't do
and
that.
you're like and you're like I can't even be real with this because I can't even put my heart into it because that's not
Yeah.
I don't relate to it, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I saw it. I was writing about that and everything, and I showed it to a buddy of mine who's been, kind of like a role model for me, and guitar and everything. I play with him sometimes. His name's Mike Falconberry.
Right.
And he, I told him about, man, it's like it's so easy for me to write love songs. I want to write about something else. He goes, man, dude, whatever comes out, like that's what you need to write. If you're writing about love, like don't worry about that. Like some of the best songs in the world are about love. Like
Right.
everybody loves love songs.
Hundred,
They're
hundred
great.
percent, hundred.
Everybody,
And I mean,
everybody
and
can
there's
relate.
only, I mean, there's only like a few people that I can think of that write songs that are counteractive to their life. Like I know, I know Drake doesn't shoot anybody because that's
Yeah,
Drake. He's not shooting
exactly.
anybody, but he can talk about it, and he's like, that's probably like the only one I can really think of off the top of my head that can really do a song about something that he just does not live at all,
Yeah,
which is which is
exactly.
so which is so weird, but it's something that you can definitely hear in people's music.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, after you released Make You Mine, that was not too long ago. I think February 26th, I think is what I
yeah,
saw.
February 26th. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what have you been doing since then?
Dude, I've been man, right now I'm trying to
Yeah,
get into law school. So
yeah. So I was about to say you're kind of locked in right now. You're engaged and and
yeah,
about to go to law school. I didn't even know that. That's yeah.
yeah.
So you're pretty busy. Music aside.
So I've been learning a lot more lead. Because one of the things that I've always like been good at doing, I have really good rhythm. I can play good rhythm, and I think that comes with the fact that I started with drums.
Right.
Um, but I play by ear, so I was never like took a lesson or anything except for like
Yeah.
by my like brother and
I mean,
stuff, and he
honestly,
plays
honestly,
by
I
ear
think
too.
that's almost the best. I think that's the more superior way, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah,
I,
I
I,
guess
I
so.
I really do. I mean, I think that it's impressive to learn classical. I have a couple guys in my band that learn classical, and it's really impressive that they can just be like, give me a D major, and they go, "Ring," and then like it's
Yeah,
like real quick instead of like
exactly.
listening to it back and stuff. It's pretty impressive. However, I think that just playing it by ear gives you the sense of groove that you need for recording,
Mhm.
stuff like
Yeah,
that, like just like the feel that you need to just kind of improv it. Um,
exactly.
but
But
yeah,
yeah, and, sometimes my drummer, like he's completely like trained, like taken lessons since he was like 10 years old. Like,
well, you
and
know
he's a
what? I think
phenomenal
drums are
musician,
almost
man.
different. Drums are different though. When you learn at such a young age, it's like almost ridiculous how they can chameleon into
I
different
didn't know there
genres.
was like notes and stuff and certain things in
I
drums. I was
had
like,
I had no idea either
yeah, we just
until one of
bang
my
on them.
bandmates told me. Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, you just make a beat, like straight
Yeah,
beat. You could do whatever you want, man. Like I didn't know there
exactly.
was notes, but yeah, my
Yeah,
friend actually taught
I've
me
been
that. It's
learning
pretty
some
cool.
lead. So I've been
That's
learning some
awesome.
lead, watching some YouTube videos, talking to my buddy Blake that he also plays guitar and he's pretty well taught with that. So he's been helping me out with that. But I've been working on that, and um, I'll write some melodies here and there, but nothing's really come to mind yet. I haven't really been writing a song or anything, but I've been writing some
Right.
melodies. And I save them in my phone and I come back to them later. And one of the
Yeah,
things I
those voice memos you keep for yourself when you want to
oh
remember the
yeah.
melodies is a funny it's a funny thing because sometimes they do not sound like you wanted them to when you go back to them, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
pretty funny. But yeah, continue, man. Keep going.
Yeah, but one of the things I recently did, especially with "Make You Mine," you can notice it a lot if you listen to some other songs that I was inspired by. So I love Halsey. I don't know if you know Halsey,
Hmm.
but I love Halsey.
Yeah,
She's her music is fantastic. But
her voice is crazy.
yeah, she's really good. But I like her music because she is poppy and stuff, but
Hmm.
um, she loves writing. Like everything that she puts out is her, truly her. She
Yeah.
writes it, and some of the metaphors and similes that she comes up with is crazy. But another thing about writing that I saw her do on a YouTube video I was watching, she combines like a bunch of songs that she loves and she figures out how she loves those songs, like what she likes about them,
Hmm.
why they're her favorite song, and it could be a line, it could be a melody, it could be anything like a certain solo or something, and then she combines all those together to make her own song. So
Yeah.
and a lot of those, like a lot of those things I kind of took into account. Like on "Make You Mine," I mentioned I-77 because I was listening to a song by Canon called I-85. And I was like, I
Ah.
kind of like that. Like, I like how he mentioned the road and how he's,
Yeah.
driving. I was like, okay, so maybe I can mention something like that. And it became like a driving thing. And then I mentioned John Mayer in that song as well. Might throw on a Mayer song because
Mm.
in another song I don't know what song it was, but they mentioned a different artist that they grew up liking. So and then I think about that through my eyes. I'm like, yeah, like I like their reference right there. I can reference that in my song. So that's why I like "Make You
Yeah.
Mine" the most, because I took that new look at writing, and I like how
Yeah,
that happened.
I think that way of looking at it is very interesting. I think I've done that just subconsciously, just like taking like a bar or something and just kind of making it your own and like taking like the premise of a bar, and it's pretty dope. I like that a lot. Thank you for
Mhm.
that because I might take that home with me.
Oh yeah.
Um, so basically, I wanted to tie back into John Mayer. Everybody who listens to this podcast
Yeah.
probably knows who John Mayer is. He's huge. What kind of influence has he had on you? Because I know what kind of influence he's had on me, but I'm curious to hear. I'm curious to hear what you think.
Dude, it's funny because I mean he's had the biggest influence on me, man. Back when I was used to ride the bus to go to school, I'd listen to I had the little iPod Nano. That's when that came out.
Yeah, that
And
just threw me back. That's an
yeah,
amazing,
yeah.
amazing throwback. Yeah.
I had one of the little silver ones, which is before
Oh
the
man, mine,
square ones. It was
mine,
a
mine
rectangle
was
one.
blue. Mine was blue. I was killing mine.
Yeah,
I had
I
like
loved it
a
though.
thousand songs on that joint.
But yeah, my dad had No Such Thing, which is off his 2001 album, I believe. So I was 2 years
Hmm.
old. But my dad had No Such Thing on that iPod Nano, and we just downloaded, all of his music came onto ours. So all the music I was listening to was like stuff in like the 80s and
Right,
70s and my dad grew up with. So that heavily influenced me a lot. But I
right.
just remember loving that one John Mayer song, and I was like, man, this song is awesome. So, I looked more into it, and turns out he had like 2 or 3 albums by then.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
since
yeah. Then you just entered a whole new world.
yeah, and
You
then
got
Continuum came
Continuum.
out, and
Yeah,
I was
we
just
just said that. Yeah, yeah, Continuum. Fucking Room for Squares, I think is the other one. I can't remember, but
yeah,
yeah, that's it's. He has got a great discography. He's got a
yeah,
great, great,
he
great, great
does, he
discography.
does. But yeah, I just kept listening to him, man, and knowing that he's definitely one of the best guitarists in the world right now, I'd say
Yeah,
maybe even ever.
yeah. And I actually wanted to ask you about that. Have you noticed like how weirdly his hands move? Like
Dude,
he just,
he plays the bass with his thumb. Like when he plays the
yeah,
G, he doesn't play like that. He plays like a
yeah. He plays
two
it. He
thumbs
plays
and
it like
pinky.
a,
I don't know how he does it.
and it's really weird. And I remember trying to like, so I was trying to learn neon on my guitar, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like watching live performances
Possible.
because I don't really yeah, it really is. I don't recommend it for anyone listening unless you're one of my bandmates because they can all play it. But I was trying to like do it how he does it rather than the YouTube tutorials I was
Mm-hmm.
watching. And as soon as like I think it was like the second or third like strum pattern, and he moves his pinky like 5 frets from his
Yeah.
index finger, and I'm like, dude, I can't do that.
Nuts,
Like I
man.
physically
It's
can't do
nuts.
that.
He's
He's
almost
nuts.
one of the things I've always like thought about it. He's like what he it's kind of funny. It's like a basketball player that instead of being a basketball player, he learned how to play guitar instead of playing
Right.
basketball because his
Right.
hands are so damn big.
His hands are
So he learned how
huge.
yeah. So that's what
Yeah.
I think about it.
100%. And I mean, he's got to be born to play guitar because like there's no one else that can do that.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
I was watching him and BB King go back and forth, and like BB King can't even reach those notes. And
Yeah, he's
it,
good,
it
man.
yeah, he's great. I definitely enjoy his music. I guess I'll put you on the spot right here. What's your favorite John Mayer song?
Oh, dude. Yeah, that's tough. Um, he's got a new album coming out, so I don't want to say it yet. I know it's coming out in April, but that's
Yeah.
what he said. I hope it
And
will.
I
But
was gonna say, wasn't it supposed to come out in January before or
oh,
something
dude,
like that?
I
It's
don't know.
gotten delayed
He'll
a couple
release it whenever
times.
he wants. But
Yeah.
dude, probably my favorite, man. I think the most real song that he puts out as of writing, I really would say "Split Screen Sadness."
Mm,
It's on Heavier Things. It's 2003, I believe.
yeah, that's a good
Man,
one.
that song. I mean, it's sad. I don't know how you like sad songs, but I love sad songs.
Yeah.
And he writes about how like when you're in a relationship, a long distance relationship, that's
Yeah.
what it's about. And I felt that because when I was at the Citadel, my girlfriend was at Carolina, and I couldn't really get out that much. It was only an hour,
Right.
but I couldn't really get out that much to see her. So I
Man.
felt that.
Yeah.
I felt that
Yeah.
hard.
Well,
So
and to ride off of that sad song thing, I think probably it's got to be in my top three. Stop This Train.
oh,
Man,
dude,
there's too many feelings on
beautiful
that.
song, man.
Beautiful,
Beautiful song.
absolutely
Your
beautiful
parents
song.
getting older and you
Yeah.
getting older. I'm like, geez.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely it hits you right here.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, speaking of family, that's the crux of what I wanted to get into. Is you seem to be very influenced by your family, your whole
Oh yeah.
top to
Definitely.
bottom. What would you say like is the best part of having your family all be musical like that?
Oh
So,
dude.
because a
I'm glad.
lot of artists don't have like musical parents or musical
Yeah.
brothers or sisters like that. So I really wanted to get your point of view of that.
Yeah, dude. All the time, man. We play together all the time. Like sometimes like I usually do duo gigs. My older brother, he'll play with me all the time. Like he'll come and play lead. He's pretty good
That's
at lead.
awesome.
He's better at lead than I am. Um he's pretty good at harmonies too. He'll say I'm a better like lead singer, but he's pretty good at harmonies. He can harmonize great. And then my little brother as well. He does the same. He can't play lead as much as my older brother Mason, but Marshall, he's my little brother. He can hit some harmonies and play guitar pretty well too. And then my dad, he's the guy that taught us, and he can still flat pick better than all of us because it was a bluegrass. So,
Yeah,
but
he's the originator.
yeah, so man,
Can
it's
can
it's
can
fun.
never beat the original, can you?
Yeah, no, man, dude, it was crazy because my uncle plays guitar too. So,
Mhm.
I just remember we always had this like dinner at on Christmas Eve at my cousin's house, and we'd go there, and I had like two uncles that play too, so it was like seven guitars, like
Oh, that's got to get
and
hectic.
like
That's
taking
got to get
turns, like
hectic.
you play a song, you play a song. I mean, it was blast, man. It's so much
No,
fun.
that's awesome though. That's what you
Yeah.
want in music, man. Just to be able to go around and share stories through music, really, because you're playing whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? So
Everybody likes music, man. That's the best way to, I guess, make peace is through music. So
that's what oh heck yeah, I love that.
yeah,
Heck yeah, I agree 1,000%, man.
oh, yeah.
So just to start to we're winding down now. I wanted to tell you to tell everyone else, the audience, what's coming up next for you, man. Like musically,
Oh,
what's up
yeah.
next for you?
You'll be on the lookout, man. I'm gonna. No, I haven't. I haven't. Currently, I'm learning some more stuff, trying to get better at the guitar. I mean, I like to think I'm pretty good, but I want to get better where I can play some more lead and,
Right.
um, starting to get into the electric a little bit because I've always been really into the acoustic guitar.
Hmm.
I think that's the background of my dad playing bluegrass, so I never really
Right.
got into
Yeah.
the electric. But I will write more. I get some more time. Right now um, you got other stuff going on. Life's getting in the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. I mean, life is a sneaky son of a you know what, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, getting married and then going to law school, but especially once I'm struggling in law school, I'm sure I can write a song about that. So
And there you go. And then you can
yeah,
release it for
we'll
everyone to
see. But
hear.
yeah, I'm a keep writing. Keep writing melodies. I got some melodies in my head that I want to write with. I think I'm going to start writing with my buddy Blake as well.
Right.
Who plays drums? Who he just put out a new EP as well. He's very very talented.
Awesome.
Very talented, pretty good writer too. So we might write together. Who knows? We play a lot together, so something will
Yeah.
come up. But as of right now, I'm just trying to improve as a musician and as a singer. So
Right. One final question. I really am curious because I mean, it seems like you've seen it all when it comes to being this independent artist and playing at bars, bar hopping, and breweries, and you've seen it with your dad and your brothers. What is some advice that you give to somebody that was in that position that or that is trying to bar hop and stuff like that, and just are first time performing in front of people, I guess.
don't get discouraged, man. Like one of the biggest things that's happened with me, like there's nights where everything will be packed and you're excited and you rehearsed and you practiced, and then there's nights that the only people there are your parents and maybe your brother. Some nights that's the way it is. You won't make any in tips. People won't like you. um, it depends on the genres you play. So another thing I will say, if you're playing at just at bars and stuff and you want to play some originals, mix them in there every now and then, promote that. But another thing, you want to play what people want to hear. So usually when I have an older crowd, I'll try to play 70s, 80s, maybe some 90s. If I have a younger crowd, then I'll play more modern stuff. More country crowd, I'll play country. So I would say be versatile, play what people want to hear, and don't get discouraged when if you have a bunch of people there, if you don't have a lot of people there, and if you mess up, it happens. Everybody messes up. Like I've messed up in the middle of a song before. I've stopped and I restarted.
Who cares?
Nobody cares. It's funny. So
Yeah. Yeah, you're not performing at the Madison Square Garden.
Exactly.
You know.
And that dude, that's even happened. Like I remember I went to a John Mayer concert and he messed up. He messed
Yeah.
up.
Out of all the people.
Yeah, he messed up and
No.
he said he stopped. He said, "Let me restart." And then he restarted. So, everybody does it, it's no big deal. But definitely practice, make sure you know what you're doing when you get yourself
Yeah.
up there and have enough songs. But that's the advice I would give. So
Awesome. All right. Well, this was, I think, episode 11 of Behind the Artist. This was Mitchell Gibbons. This was Tyler Tabor. Thank you guys for watching. And peace.
This won't be the last time I come back home. 77, got nothing but miles on it.